Hello, my crafty friends. It's Michelle, the Southern Shell, and I am here with you to celebrate a What Would You Make? This collaboration is brought to us by Brenda with Rustic and Lace DIY, Christine with Divine Design, and their guest host this month is Kathy with Kathy Joe's DIY. I will leave links to their channel in my description box below, along with the playlist to the other collaborators joining us today. I have one project for you, but guys, it's a doozy. So let's jump right on in and get started on this Easter craft.
All right, so the first thing I'm going to start with today is I have some mulberry paper, which is what I use for rice paper when I do my decoupage images if I'm creating my own. So I bought this one and I thought I got the letter size, and obviously I didn't, because you can see it's just a little big, so it's a little big for my printer. So I'm just going to line this up with a piece of cardstock that is letter size, the 8.5 by 11, and I'm just going to come in with my blade here and just trim that off. It does not trim well if I try to use like a slicer because of the mulberry paper being so thin. There we go. Make sure you hold it down all the way. That should take it right off. I don't know why I'm struggling because the camera's on. Okay. So now I'm just going to do it again for the side piece here. We're going to hold that down right on that line and then trim that piece off. And now I'm going to go get my image printed out that I am going to use on my project today. So this is the box that I will be redoing, and I'm showing it to you this way because it is pretty big and it does not fit all in the camera. But I'm going to take the lid off. This is a nice big, let me get my ruler out here. Okay, so there's my 12-inch ruler. With my husband's, where he works, they give us a Christmas box every year, and this is what it comes in. And it is from our Mennonite store that is the next county over. And it is a beautiful box, and the goodies that come inside of it are just delicious. So I am going to create something beautiful, spring and Eastery, out of this box. First thing I'm going to do is get this little sticker label off, and I have my heat tool just in case I need it, but it looks like it's coming off just beautifully. Yep, there we have it. Look at there. Okay. Now here is the image that I printed, and I printed it on 2 sheets because I wanted it to be big enough to go on this board. But I was having problems. This is my 3rd attempt trying to print the top part, and it just kept giving me issues. So I'm like, you know what? We're going to put it on where that top part is going to be over this darker area, and after I do the wax and stuff, it should be just fine. I'm not going to worry about it. I am just going to go with what I have. I'm not going to waste product, and I'm just going to make do here, and I'm going to show you how I do that. First thing I want to do is create an edge where these two can meet up, and it won't look like there's a join there at all. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and come in and trim off the white part here on my image. So I'm going to line it up on my mat to make sure that it is straight, and then I can come in with my metal ruler. I can lay that down. I want to line up lines, and if I cut at the eye, that will be just fine. I'm going to go up 1/4 inch though, and just kind of do it right above, lining up my dots on my mat, making sure everything is nice and even. Come in with your blade and slice that off. And so now I have a nice cut right along that bunny. Now what I want to do is come in and I'm going to need to line this up. And so I'm going to line up my little bunny eye. So I'm just going to make sure that I'm holding that with one finger as I'm coming in with the ruler. Line it up on that line where the other paper is at. Hold that down up against your metal ruler as you're pulling this towards you. And that should give me the top and the bottom for my bunny, and that should line up perfectly right there. Look at that. So because I have to do this in sections, I thought the best thing would be is to tape it down onto my board first of all. So I'm just going to come in and kind of find, because if that is like the middle there, yeah, kind of bring those bunnies up, because I want this to focus on the bunnies, not everything around it. I mean, the image is absolutely gorgeous, but I definitely want to focus on our little critters here in the center. Oh, I hope this turns out just as beautiful as I think it's going to. So I'm going to now line that back up right along, and I'm going to take that part down now. Alright, so what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to just do a water line around our image with some water and a paintbrush. And I don't want it too wet because I do use an inkjet, and so I have to be really careful when I'm doing stuff like this. So I'm just going to come in with my wet paintbrush. Why are you stiff? Okay, you're not stiff anymore. And let's just come in like that and see if we can just start pulling that away. Perfect. Okay. Finish going this direction. Alright. Now we're going to come in. I'm going to try to stay making this a nice little oval image here. So now I have my Cricut iron, my little mini press there, heating up, and I am going to get some Mod Podge on this pretty little bunny thing here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this down and come in and just lay some Mod Podge across the top of this area where that top piece is going to be. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to spread that out. You can slide this out of the way for right now. I'm going to get the Mod Podge all over this area where the top will go, and I will also get it covered along where the bottom will go after I get rid of the Mod Podge boogers. Now that all the Mod Podge is on there and it is still pretty tacky, I am going to go ahead and start, I think I will start with my bottom piece here, and I'm going to lay that right on down on top of my Mod Podge. Trying to make sure I'm getting, sorry about that, motorcycle. I'm trying to get this all kind of right in the center of the top of this lid, and I'm just laying that right on down into that tacky Mod Podge. I will come back around and fix any edges. Now to do the top, we're going to rotate. So now I can come in and line up little Missy's ears and our little eyebrows right there. Give that a little pushy squishy right into that tacky Mod Podge, and then lift and pull out where there are any possible wrinkles. With this still being tacky. Now you can wait till it's dry and line it up, but I would be more afraid of it sliding under my parchment paper as I was trying to iron it than doing it this way. Oh yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to come around these edges here, and I am going to just kind of finish gluing or cutting those edges off, tearing them off, trying to make it a little more maybe the same, yeah, like right in through here. We'll just come in with our water and just, you know, kind of guide it right where that one was on that side. Let's pull that off and do the same on this side. Coming in with the back side of my blade, the dull side, and just pulling that down, giving that frayed edge, and it's blending perfectly into that wood. Yes. I'm going to do that all the way around to give me a nice shape and tear back side of my knife and pull it So now I'm going to come in with some parchment paper, and I'm going to lay this down over the top. And I didn't think one would make it, but it does. And of course I'm going to come in with my iron, and I'm now just going to press this in, reactivating, melting that glue down, getting it kind of loopy, melting it down so it will grab and hold this. It also irons out any wrinkles that may have come up in this. It also helps to dry out anything that was still wet. So I'm just coming in. I'm being careful because it is on wood. It's a very dry wood too, but it is, I think it's turning out just beautifully. All right, let's see. Oh yeah. You see here where it's still real wet. This is going to need to dry before I can move on to that next step, because this is going to need to be sealed. And I wanted to get some wax on it to help with any sealing of all of this. Okay. So while this is drying, I really wanted to implement some of this ribbon that I have in my stash, but I don't have enough. I also have this really pretty jute ribbon here, the twine, and I thought what I could do is kind of space them out around the bottom edge of my lid, so they would hang off like that, and just have a few before I come and lay this over the top, so I have a few around the edge of my lid. So in order to do that, I want to make sure that I have them even at this point. I figured if I can get the hot glue down with this, and then I come over with my wood glue and this with some hot glue tacked in spots, it would be fine. Now the problem is these beads are stitched on there, so if you cut a stitch, you have a likelihood of pulling those beads out. So you've got to be cautious when you're doing this. So I'm going to come in, and the first thing I'm going to do is try to cut that like in the middle, so I have enough of that green ribbon on both sides to keep those beads hanging in place. Alright, our last one to glue down. So I have the threads, and I have them just kind of up over that little piece of ribbon there, so I can see exactly where it is. Got hot glue on my fingers. And I'm just going to lay the hot glue right on over those. I'm going to come in and fold this third in, press it down, and then fold this third in and press it down. Now I can give it a squeeze, and I have my little bundle of the beads here. Let's see how many cutting that ribbon apart gave me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, let's start getting these glued onto our lid. I have this sideways because I have this seam down the center here that's pretty close to the center of my lid, and I'm going to start by taking my little pieces here, and I'm going to tilt this up, and this is going to line up right down here at the bottom, and I'm going to glue that right there. So I'm going to just add some hot glue, and I'm going to come in and lay that right on there, so those beads are hanging right off that edge on this lid. And then I'm going to go to the opposite side, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side here. So I'm going to come down right where that is, right where that top of that seam is, grab another bundle of these beads and lay that down so the beads are hanging off the bottom of that lid. Da-da-da. Okay, so now I want to do it on my sides here. So this side, if I keep a look, it's probably going to be right where these staples are holding this lid in place. So we're going to just go there. Okay, so before I move on to the other, you can see I've got my little beads on there all the way around, but before I move on to the other burlap ribbon there, I'm going to come in with my wax and get this all sealed down so I don't have to worry about that, so I can have the colors over the edge and not worry about getting any wax on the ribbon once it's down. So the first thing, I've got my antique wax, this is my white wax, and this is my clear wax. And these are all by Waverly. So I'm going to put some clear wax on here to start with. And I'm going to come in, this is just a piece of Tor microfiber cloth. And this wood is really, really dry. It is raw. And so I'm just going to start by pouncing. I want to get this on the edges of my image, but I don't want to put too much on there because of the ink. I don't want the ink to get wet and bleed. So I'm just trying to pounce this on all around the edges. And then I will move more into the center. Alright, so I've got my clear wax on, and now I have some distressed oxide and frayed burlap. I love this color because it just has a hint of green to it, and I thought that this would be really pretty around kind of where our rabbits are busting out from. So I'm just going to come in and just hit the edges here with some frayed burlap. All around the edges of this napkin. And you see where the only spot you can tell is right here that that napkin didn't have anything up on top. It blends in actually rather nicely. And then you can wipe it back. Now, because you put the clear wax on first, you should be able to have more control over this. I mean, like I said, this wood was really dry, so if that clear wax didn't get into some of those like real dark, deep crevices here, that dark wax is going to go in there and grab. So I want to make sure I get it in there real well. Now I can come in with another snippet and wipe that back. Alright, I'm going to continue all the way around. So now I want to give it a more cloudy look around the edges. And that's where my white wax comes in, and I'm going to still use my same waxy rag, but now I'm just going to kind of get it in there, and we're going to just dab around those edges again, and we're going to give this dimension and texture. You hear my beads. Okay, well, I'm not going to do anything around the edge of the lid here, but I'm going to have to color some of that box, this wooden box, to match that lid. So let's go ahead and just finish up our lid. And a few things I have here. I have this little cute sign, and I thought I would hit that with some of this frayed burlap. So let me get that. And that just changed it just enough. And I'm going to sit that right there where those two lines did not meet up, or when I ran out of ink on the top one. That one will be done. Just take that white wax, and we're going to just do this whitewash over here. But if you look, you can kind of see there's the difference there. I guess it makes me feel better that I did it. How about that? But it's supposed to, it gives you a whitewashed look for sure. All right, let me get that one done. All right, now I'm going to add these onto our lid, and I'm going to use a combination of my wood glue and hot glue here. I am going to use the cotton side of the Q-tip, and I'm going to just add some generous amount on here. And I'm going to leave a couple, goodness sakes, a couple spots open. I can actually put some hot glue on. but I want to make sure the back is covered in some really good heavy-duty glue. Okay. So what I'm going to do, hot glue right in that center. We'll hold this in place. It's going to go right on that line. And right there. All right. I'll set my glue on top of it. And then the same thing for my little flowers. I am going to put some on most of the flowers, petals there, clear up through the center, and then I'm going to dab a hot glue here, dab a hot glue there, and then I'm going to press that right on down onto my lid. And this one I'm going to lay down here. And this one I want to kind of lay across the top, so I only need some wood glue here and here. And then I'm going to come in on the tips of these sides over here with that hot glue. And now I can lay that down right on top. And that is done. Okay. So there is our lid. Let's get the ribbon around the edges. And I'm going to use that same hot glue and wood glue to attach my ribbon around the edge of my lid. Now this will be a very difficult angle to do, so I don't know if I'll be able to show you all of it. But what I will start with is some hot glue on this side so that I have a place to lay that ribbon and get it started nice and tight in that hot glue. Stop that frame and get that down. And so now I will come around and glue this all the way around my edges using the wood glue and the hot glue, and then I will be back. Now this humongous base definitely needs some wax on it as well, so I am only going to do the outside edge of this container with the, I'm going to start with the white wax, and then I'm going to add some antique wax to help distress and make bring the lid and the box container together. It's too big for me to show on camera, but I just wanted to let you know what I was going to do with it. Are you ready? Are you ready? Oh my gosh, this is the side. Of course, that's where the seams come together. And let's come around to the, look at how stinking adorable that is. Oh my goodness, I think it turned out so cute. It is 18 inches wide, and I'm very happy with it. What do you think, Joe?
I love it. I think it's beautiful.
It turned out so cute. You cannot tell where that seam is, where I made that image bigger. I love the flowers on there, a little more pop of brightness to bring in those bunny colors. And of course the frayed burlap on the little cute over in the side. I love it. Guys, tell me what you think. I will leave this in, I will add this video to my spring 2026 videos playlist so you can see all the other creations I've done this spring for Easter. There's that same image in the regular size, an 8.5 by 11. And of course, I just loved that image so much, I had to make it bigger. Guys, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed, I hope you will consider doing so now by hitting that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification, and YouTube should notify you when my latest video has gone live. Anything I can find for you to purchase to create your own thing like this, I will leave in my description box below. As always, guys, stay safe, God bless,
And bye for now.